Yeah, it's always good to have a team behind you, but even though you have a team, you still gotta prove who you are.
Facts.
And you know what I love about you? LOVE, capital LUV, however you want to say it. You put yourself out there front line, and you put your freestyles out, and you put your bars out there. Now, one thing I want to ask you as an artist, I don't want to ask you. I want to tell you, you are a fuck up an MC. You're not a rapper. You are an MC.
Appreciate
and
that.
I see it. And the one thing that I loved about something that you did when you rhymed on the Will They Reminisce Over You freestyle, I was like, yo, she's over here touching on the classics.
Oh yeah.
But then
shout out to my brother Jay.
But then you can touch the Wishing on a Star and change your flow.
Yeah.
So you have flow, lyrics, delivery, punch, and vibe. Bars. As an artist, what's more important to you? The punch of the bar or the vibe of the lyric?
Ooh. Honestly, I feel like the punch of the bar, because at the end of the day, that's gonna be what people gonna remember. They're gonna remember that end line. Like, even with me, I hear something lit on the radio, I'ma remember, and yeah, I'll be like, yeah, that's a dope song, but yo, remember them, da 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 da. You know, it's just, it's what sticks out the most. So I would definitely say the punch.
The thing about you though, when you rhyme, your punch and your flow is highlighted by your voice. You have a song with Arsenal, and everybody's waiting for Arsenal to get in, but you got in first, and you opened the door only for him to like walk in. See, when somebody thinks that of your track, they're already discounting you. But I know when that song came out, people told you you stood out on that track. If not just as much, but you started the track off to bring him in. When you get that validation, what is that?
I mean, it's dope, you know what I mean? I feel like as an artist, for me, I usually write all of my features with me starting, you know what I mean? To each is their own. People do start off songs with features, but for me, I'm like, nah, it's my track, and I'm gonna kick it off first, and then he gonna come in. A few things that people did say was, yeah, I wish he had a longer verse or whatever, but he got in, he did what he had to do, and I commend him for that, because that's not even his style. Like, he don't do shit like that, you know, but he hopped on and he bodied it, he did what he had to do, because can't sell barbers for hours.
Okay, I like how you put stuff like that in there, but when I heard the EP, and I said, okay, she got an album coming out, I was not prepared for the rain. The growth from the EP to the album was I don't even know what to put it in words, because it was just enough to make you. The EP was just enough to get you interested, but the album was a full plate. I don't know what you like to eat. What's your favorite food?
That's crazy. I eat so much now. I don't even think I have a favorite food, but I like, soul food.
Alright, let's go soul food.
Get jiggy with it.
Let's do soul food. Let's do smothered fried chicken with some corn. No, with some sweet potato cornbread and some greens. Alright.
Ain't no mac and cheese though?
I mean, if you like cheese, I don't. But mac and cheese,
put it on
cool. The EP to me was the mac and cheese and the cornbread by itself. The LP was the full meal. So it got you. So like, yeah, that's a nice little kick. That's cool.
Right.
But when you sat down and you really listened to the album, it was like, wow, okay, I really wasn't ready, because she came with a plan. When most people put out an album, they just do a bunch of songs.
Right.
But you playing this one. What was the formation of this album? Where were you taking it?
So, from Rising Phoenix, the name of it and what it means is, from the ashes you grow and things like that. So I feel like it's like you said, like I wanted to get my feet wet. I did freestyles, everybody saw it. I wanted to drop something besides just a single that I already had out. So I said, let me just drop a little something, just so they could see, like, oh, okay, like she got something. And then I said, this next project needs to like be like a whole takeover. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking, all right, I started from the bottom, now I'm here, and now that I'm here, I'm trying to ride a wave. this is my season. This is the fucking rain because Queen Neveah. So when I wrote, and it's so crazy because I said it last night on my live, I wrote Cash a Check was like one of the first songs I wrote before the rain. And I was like, okay, so what kind of vibe is this gonna be? Is this gonna be, you know, like a turn up vibe, or is it gonna be like a mix? Because I want everybody to hear a little bit of something, everything that I did. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna make it a mix. I'm gonna hit him off with everything. I'm gonna hit him off with a turn up track. I'm gonna hit him off with a two-step track. I'm gonna hit him off with a heartbroken one, a sex one, you know, just, I wanted to bring everything together that I couldn't do in the EP. And even with the EP, I feel like HBIC was a turn up, figured out was like whatever, but it was very chill. It was a vibe, you know. This one I'm like, it's time to turn up. Like, I ain't sad no more, you know what I mean? I ain't, you know, I'm not stressing about the same shit that I was stressing about before. It's time to turn up. Let's go, you know. So in planning that, I knew that I said this album has to have turn up. It needs to be relatable, but at the same time it still needs to be a vibe where people could still listen to it. Whether, because you know how you have like summer vibes and like, nah, this is like more for a summer track. I want my shit to be all year round, 24, all year round. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that was kind of like the process in getting the rain together, in leaving from Rising Phoenix and then going into the rain. Like I said, I needed to just pop and explode, and what better else way to do it than to ride your season is the rain.
2 tracks on the album that stood out to show your intelligence and your insides was Winning and Mic Check. Tell me about Winning and Mic Check. And Winning was more about who you are and protecting yours. And Mic Check was about who I am and why you can't sleep on me. Tell me about why it was important to include those 2 tracks in there. Why did you place them where you did?
So for Winning, I wanted it to come later on because I feel like I said, I got all like the turn up tracks done in the beginning, but towards the end, like I just wanted people to hear that one before it's mic drop, because I knew the kind of vibe it was gonna go. If you notice, in the beginning of the album, it's like turn up, turn up, turn up, and then it starts to kind of like trickle down into like the vibe, and then it ends with mic drop. So putting Winning in there first was like, okay, here's something, and now something else is gonna come later, you know. So when I put mic drop at the end, obviously it's called Mic Drop, last song, and it's part 1, which also signifies part 2 coming up. So I planned that ahead, and I wanted people to say it's not done, you know what I mean? And that was the point of putting Mic Drop at the end before Winning, and putting those thought-provoking songs at the end, you know what I mean? Because I feel like if I put it in the beginning, you know what I mean, it could just very well be played over because of the type of sound it brings in the beginning. Like when you hear the rain, you're like, oh, this about to be lit, let me hear. But I feel like if I put like Winning or Mic Drop, it would have been like, oh, another like Rising Phoenix or another like ballad or something like that, you know what I mean? So that was my plan.
But the plan came together perfectly because even with the flow of the album, even though you had fun at the beginning, even, you know, your Ladies Prospect came and did what he had to do, you know.
Sure did.
I mean, East to West was like another standout track because not only did it show that you know your sound, you introduced others and they still had to match your tempo. What's the hardest thing about making a song for your project with bringing people in?
I mean, honestly, that probably is one of the hardest. The hardest thing about bringing somebody else is their reliability, first and foremost. If they're gonna stick true to what they say they're gonna do. But aside from that, I think it's delivery for me more so because I have a strong voice naturally, and when I spit, and if you can't balance up to that par, I mean, it's gonna sound crazy. So I make sure that the features that I choose are going to stand out with me. Nobody's gonna overshadow nobody. Nobody's gonna take anybody's shine. We rocking this together. And I think all the features that I chose for this album did exactly that. They completely just hands down, just like blew it out the water.
Remember what you said, because we're gonna revisit that about features.
All right.
In this interview.
All right.
But most importantly, I'm not even gonna go to my favorite track. I love the fact that in your openness, you don't shy away from your identity. Not you're white, too white for the dark kids, and you were too hood for the white kids. What was that about?
So everybody thinks I'm Latina, but I'm not. I'm half African American, half Irish. My mom's black, my dad's white. So growing up, you know, I always felt it was hard for me to be accepted by a lot of people, because they just didn't know how to accept me. They were like, well, what are you? You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I feel like I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. I felt like I was home a lot, more than being outside with friends and hanging out, because I just felt like being in Bayonne, New Jersey is predominantly white, and, you know, being biracial, you know what I'm saying? You go over to, you know, Jennifer's house with her white parents, and your mom's picking you up and they're looking at her crazy, and then all of a sudden Jennifer and you can't hang out no more. You know, it's like, oh shit, okay, all right, well, whatever. And then even honestly vice versa. And this is another issue that goes on honestly in the black community, and it's unfortunate. Honestly, it goes on every light versus dark and all of that. I feel like a lot of issues I went through in school were with African American women who were dark skinned and didn't like me for no reason, you know, but just because I was light skinned, I had good hair, it's pretty, yada yada yada, that whole ordeal that we know. So even with that, I can't say lonely, because I'm never alone, God's always around, but I just felt like I didn't have anybody I could fall back on. Like I said in Mic Drop, like I didn't feel like I had somebody or a group of people that I chill with daily, you know what I'm saying? You and your friends, you out on the stoop all the time, blah, 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 till the lights come out, you know, come on, 8 o'clock, gotta go in the house. It wasn't like that. It was like, all right, I'll hang out with some friends for a little bit, but I knew they weren't my friends. I just felt like they felt bad, you know. They was like, oh, she ain't hanging out with nobody, so let's hang out with her. It was like more so like a pity kind of friendship, and that started at such a young age, and I grew with it, and even in high school, the only time that it never happened was in college, and then it just kind of stopped happening from there. When I went to college, it was like a melting pot. There was everybody, so it was like I felt like, oh my God, like where can I go? I could go to everybody, and that's probably honestly one of the main reasons why I pledged a multicultural sorority. Shout out Mu Sigma Upsilon Sorority Incorporated, Mu. That's probably why I joined a multicultural sorority, because I felt like everybody's a part of everybody. We're not just one, and we're gonna accept you for all that you bring, and not just, I just like you for your white side, or I just like you for your black side, you know? So growing up, it was some bullshit. It was some bullshit, man.
Well, I'll tell you this. Sorry you went through what you did, but unfortunately, that tough lesson made you the dope woman that you are today.
Agreed.
Because while somebody can stare in your face and tell you how beautiful you are for your physical, until they get the gift of touching your heart or getting to know your spirit, they never know how dope you truly are. I don't give a damn if you never rhyme again. You are dope in so many ways.
Thank you.
And I don't care if you ever open your mouth again. Your story has just taught the world to love itself, and if they don't, then I guess they missed the point, correct?
Absolutely.
Real